Hello, and welcome to the Miskatonic Playhouse. I'm T.A. Newman, your host. My team and I will be bringing to life adventures using the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, which contains mature themes, cosmic horror, character death, and loss of sanity. Our mystery can be found in the Miskatonic repository, where people like you and me can write an adventure for others to play. We'd like to thank Syrinscape, whose tools have helped provide the background sounds that you hear. And if you'd like to become a friend of the Playhouse, then please support us on Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/Miskatonic Playhouse, where you can gain access to exclusive shows and content for as little as £1. And now, let's join the show. Welcome to the Miskatonic Playhouse this evening. Tonight, we are playing Branches of Bone. I am T.A. Newman, your keeper and host, and I'd like to introduce you to this amazing cast. Could we hear from each of you just who you are, where we can find you, and also a little bit about who you're going to be playing tonight? Lynne, would you mind starting?
My name is Lynne Hardy. I am the Associate Editor for Call of Cthulhu at Chaosium. And tonight, Matthew, I will be playing Yulva Trollsdottir, who is the hunter for the clan. So she normally spends winter with the clan, but spends the rest of the year out foraging for meat and game for the village. And she's on this raiding party because, well, she's kind of like a home of her own.
Okay, nice. Hedge.
Hi, my name is John Hedge. I'm the backstage manager at the Miskatonic Playhouse. I write scenarios, I do a whole bunch of backstage stuff, I run games for the Playhouse, but today I'll be playing Linus Jarlsson, who is the steersman of the clan. He's one of the people who would normally pilot the boats on the Viking raids, but he lost his boat recently due to a mistake in the clan, something to do with the chief. But he would like to gain a boat back. He is steering this boat today, and he is on this raid because by bringing himself glory, he will hopefully rise once more in the ranks of the Vikings.
Nice. Scott.
Hi, I'm Scott Dorwood. You might know me from such podcasts as The Good Friends of Jackson Elias, Ain't Slayed Nobody, How We Roll, or Grizzly Peaks Radio, or even occasionally the Miskatonic Playhouse. And this evening I shall be playing Orm Frodison, who is the seer for the clan. He is normally the one whose visions guide everyone to glory and riches. But today, for some reason, we're following our leader's visions. The goddess decided to speak to him and not me, which I'm totally fine with. It might be a bit unusual for me to come on a raid like this, but, well, fuck you all.
Awkward. And Clym.
Hi there, I'm Clym Arnold. I occasionally write Call of Cthulhu scenarios. I tried to do a podcast. I've done one so far. It's supposed to be weekly.
I enjoyed it.
And I've managed to do just the one. And I will be playing Griss Orenson. He's a berserker. He's starting to feel like his best days are behind him. His knees are starting to go, and he's sort of aching a bit. And he's a bit cautious about what they're about to embark on, or what they're currently embarking on.
Nice. Okay. And with that, the last note is that tonight's show is sponsored by my children, who found out when I was pretending to be a Viking, they wanted to get involved with a little bit of face paint. So they are available to hire. I am their agents. If you'd like face paint of this quality, just get in touch with the Playhouse and I'll put you in touch with the little monsters. On that note, we will begin. You, the four of you, are in a boat, but it's not just the four of you. There is a fifth. You are with Bargar. Bargar is the son of the chieftain. The chieftain is in a boat just to the side of you. There are 2 raiding boats, and you've been in the water for a long time. The sky is beginning to lighten. You've been all through the night in the water. The chill, the cold, the wind lashing, the salt spraying. England has been in sight for a while, for an hour. As you get closer and closer, you see the island sprawling out before you, and it's that dot. It's that little dot that you see getting bigger and bigger just off that northeast coast. You see this little dot. You see this island. You see the island Skógrbein. This is where you are going. Skógrbein is the island that you have been told by your chieftain, by his visions. Your chieftain, Askr Yelloweye, has said that on that island, there is something of honor. There is something of wealth. There is something. There is something. On your boat, in the water, Linus is the steersman driving the boat forward, but you're all rowing. Can you all give me a strength roll, please?
Oh, this could be good. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. That would be a failure. 82 versus 50.
Okay, I'm sure somebody else is going to pick up the slack here. Linus?
66 over 60 failure. I would like to push this roll, though.
Okay, I'm just going to jump on the others and then we'll come back to your push, but we will push the roll, of course. Orm?
78 over 40, and I am not pushing that. I am not pushing that at all.
In fact, I'm pushing my oar over the side. So 3 fails thus far. Griss?
That's 86 over 80. Fail, obviously. I told you my bones were aching.
It's been a long time on the boat. You are knackered. You are worn. You know that when you land, you have all got to let that war red mist descend on you. You've all got to drop into that. Griss, as your berserker mentality more than anybody, but all of you know that when you land, there's no rest. But Linus decides to push the roll. Let's have it, please.
Wow. 79 over 60, another failure. That's a good start.
Okay, I'm going to ask you for a bit of something here. You're in the water, and it's not flat, but it's not like smashing you about either. It is choppy. You can see Asker's, your chieftain's boat next to you, and you know there's a couple of other Vikings in there that are all part of the crew. There's Sten, there's Tove, there's Skarda. You can see them in the water there with you. In the other boat. Your boat is next to them. Everybody in your boat, you can see them knackered, pulling back. They're rowing, the boat is moving. You give it that extra little something. What goes wrong here, Linus?
Tell you what goes wrong. I decide to bring myself glory through steering directly into one of the waves as we're coming in towards this thing, while the other boat decides to take it on its side, which would allow it to just kind of go a little more easily. But I drive straight through it, and we simply don't have the press enough, and it splinters and breaks, and our boat is now taking on water.
I love this. I'm also going to ask everybody for a dexterity. No, I'm going to go for, dexterity roll. When Linus turns the boat into the wave, when it hits, and obviously this is what breaks some of the actual boat, their hit is hard. It rocks the boat. You all go bloody flying in this boat. There's hardly any room. You're all sitting next to each other with these oars, so getting thrown about in it is not an easy thing to have. Griss, how'd you get on?
That's a good question. I rolled. 2 seconds, sorry. Where did I go? I failed. again, I told you, I got 92 over 70. Yeah, I am suffering.
You are suffering. I'm afraid that's going to be a hit point. That's you've got your oar in you. You get slammed into it. You get slammed into the side of the boat, and you know why. You know that Linus was the one that drove this boat through that wave. He didn't roll on it like Askr's boat. Your chieftain knows what he's doing. Yeah, your steersman, he's just smashed you straight into a couple of waves, and the island is there. I don't know whether that makes you feel like you're ready to fight or bloody fight somebody else, but Yulva, how did we get on?
This time it was a success, 70 versus 85.
You see it coming. There's that moment you've got your oar in front of you, and rather it's slamming into your ribs or under your ribs into all those lovely soft organs there. You actually kind of roll with the oar, which rolls in a kind of counter direction because of the way you hit the water. And when the boat cracks, it cracks near you, but not quite where you are. So when it starts taking on water, it's not quite there. Hedge.
It's a failure. 71 over 65.
I think it's fair to say when the boat cracks, it cracks by you. And the water is now pouring onto you. So not only are you washed cold from the sides, but you are now getting absolutely soaked. Your boots, your legs, it's whooshing up. And every time you go over a new wave, there's a new gush of water that rolls over you. You not only feel that this act of bravery has failed, but it's failed the people in your boat. How'd you get on?
I got a 0-1. So I think it's fair to say that while my crewmates may have failed me, the gods are looking after their chosen.
And I think with that critical, you fly to the island. No, I think with that critical, I'd like to say that the impact, because you've said the gods are shining on you, I think that Griss, Linus, and Yulva, they all think the same. Because of your critical role, they know that you are the seer. They know that you are in touch with the gods. So when the boat cracks and Griss gets hurt, and Linus, you're hurt as well. You lose a hit point. Sorry, I should have delivered that bad news. When that happens, he almost stands on his haunches, almost squats a little bit. And when the boat hits, he kind of rolls with it and is almost looking up to the sky as if in communion with something. And you all see it. You all see that in this moment is touched by the gods. This boat may be struggling, but one of you seems to be a little bit, shall we say, cared for, looked after. Let's go with that.
Hold fast. Keep rowing.
Nice.
Look at him. Look at his eyes.
Yeah, you're going. Griss is cheering you on. Don't stop, Griss. Keep going. You keep rowing. You keep going. Griss, keep shouting them on. Griss. Go for it.
Go. Row.
On that, I'd like Linus to give us a piloting roll, please. Because you're piloting this boat, and we've had a few bumps. I'm going to tell you now, you already see that your chieftain's boat now, because he's rolling on the waves, he's gotten over those heavy waves, they're ahead of you. They're making better time to the island than you are. Yeah.
If I don't have a pilot role, how would you like to resolve this?
I would.
Oh, no, there it is. Sorry, my apologies.
I really hope you've got a pilot role.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't. Actually, tell a lie, I don't.
I have failed that with a 96 versus 80.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, and again, I think this is all part of it, because even though you have a pilot to this boat, your immediate deaths in the shortest scenario we've ever played doesn't all rely on Linus in this moment. What I'd like you each to do is to give me a strength roll, and I'd like to say that Griss and Yulva, your rolls, if successful, will bring down the difficulty for Linus's roll. rather than just a straight out fail. Or if you're successful, you get Linus a bonus die. So strength rolls from you guys for supporting him in piloting this boat through this kind of rocky water.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I can see now why he lost his boat.
It seems to be a habit.
Okay, right.
Oh, wow.
Resemble that remark.
Right, Griss, how do we get on?
Yeah, that was a success, a regular success on that one.
Excellent. So Griss is shouting, row, row, row. It's there. He's psyching himself up, ready for what's coming when they land. So that's success. That's going to lower the kind of the difficulty on the roll a little bit there. Lynne, what was yours?
That was an extreme success, 6 out of 50.
Okay. And Scott, for Orm, what did we get?
Yep, I got 26 out of 40, so somehow I passed.
Right, okay. So what we're going to do then, Linus, is we're going to give you a bonus roll. And even though it's versus 80, in this moment, the roll is actually made easier for you because everybody is given it some. So I'm going to ask you need to roll, but you need to... it's already on 80.
What am I rolling?
It's already pretty bloody high, isn't it? I'm going to say, let's go 88. You need to get under 88 with your bonus die.
You mean we're going at
What's the
88 miles
bonus
an
die?
hour?
88 miles an hour. Flux capacitor is engaged. So roll your pilot boat again. Roll. Just do a bonus die and we'll see if we can drop it under 88.
Oh, right, okay.
You've done it, haven't you?
And I re-rolled. You wanted a bonus.
Oh,
die,
no,
my
that's
apologies.
perfect. No, that's great. That's exactly what we want. That's fine. Absolutely
51
fine.
versus 80, regular success.
Then you're proving that you're not just a boat wrecker. This is good. This is good. Okay, so the boat, you kind of feel it almost jump back on track. You feel that navigation with the water. You feel that the reason you are the steersman is because you find this current. You find this particular current that really kind of drives you in. And before you know it, you're all in the water. And you've got Berger, who is your chieftain's son, who's in your boat. And you start to hear him going, yeah, we are here, look, bring it in around there. And you see that there is the island appearing before you. It really sticks out of the water. It's not a massive island, but it pokes out of the water and you can see this kind of outcrop of rocks off the front, which curls round. And behind it, hidden, you can almost see this structure there, this stone structure. And you realize that you have to come around the front of this island and then almost kind of curl back in, almost like into a cove. So as you're kind of pulling around and you're curling around, that's the current that you drop in. You see, as you hit that current, that Askr, Berger's father and the other Vikings that are on the raid, they've landed. This has knocked you back a fair bit of time. So you, all four of you, or all five of you, because Berger's rowing as well, you are going and pulling and pulling. Can I ask you all for a spot hidden? The island is very much in sight now. It's a spot hidden as you're driving through this water. But passion is surging through you. The desire for battle is on the horizon. Scott, what did you get for your spot hidden? What did Orm get for his spot hidden?
I got 48 versus 45. It's close, but I'm going to save my luck for something dangerous.
Excellent. Yulva, Lynne, what did Yulva get?
Yulva is far too busy concentrating on not drowning at this point in time. So that was a 60 versus 40. So no, she didn't spot anything either.
Okay, so really dry, the boat really coming in now. Linus is obviously leading that, watching where we're going. What was your roll, Linus?
4 versus 60, a hard success. My eyes are very much focused. I got through that wave. I actually feel like it wasn't my fault. The boat was just badly made. A proper boat would have easily managed what I tried to make it manage, and I am doing fine, and I can see whatever is up.
and a famous Viking saying is a good workman never blames his tools. But those boat makers, don't get me started on those boat makers. Clym, what's your roll?
I got a hard success. It's 15 over the 45. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So Yulva, Orm, I think there's a moment of just like reprieve. There's a moment, oh thank God, we're going there. Askir's already there. Bugger, Askir's already there. He's going to get the bloody goods. He's going to get the glory. They've already landed. For you, Yulva, this raid, it means a bit of freedom, doesn't it?
It really does, yes. So
having the other part of the raiding party get there first, that's got to drive you a little bit. Like, what? We need to get there. We need to get there now. It's the same but different. It's not about the goods. And obviously, I'm throwing these out there. You take them and throw them away as you like. But Askr Yelloweye, the chieftain, not the seer, who had a vision. He's already there. And you, Orm, touched by the gods, still in a boat with these guys. Linus, Griss, you're looking at the island, you're pulling in, you're rowing really hard. It's Berger, the chieftain's son, and he's a young lad. He's not as old as you guys. He's younger than you. He kind of he looks up to Griss's kind of brutality and size, and he kind of like acts like he's that big, but he's not. And he looks to Orm, and there's a sense of wisdom there that he actually kind of looks to all of you to a degree. He's quite likable, but at the same time, he is young, and he is the chieftain's son, so he is gonna be the next chief. As and when, time and tide takes its toll. Griss, Linus, you're able to kind of block out Berger a bit, who's kind of going, Askr Yelloweye, you're there! Save some for us! And kind of shouting as you're kind of going in. You two look at the island and you see that curve in the island. You see the rocks on the island. You know exactly where you're going. But as the sun glints, as the morning begins and the sun glints just over the top of this kind of rock scree towards the top, you see another little glint. You see someone moving up there. And it's definitely not one of the other raiding party because they have just landed, and rather than going up there, they ran straight towards the structures on the island. What do you do?
I instantly sort of point out to it, and I'll point to Yulva. Say, Yulva, you see that? Do you see that over there?
No, where?
With your
where?
bow. That's not one of ours. Can you take them out?
We are too far out. Wait.
Now he's pointing. Can I see where he's pointing to? Can I see movement now?
Let's have a bonus die on your previous spot hidden.
Okie dokie. Where am I? I am there. No. I got exactly the same result again.
It's not that it's almost because
Well, the sun's in my eyes, presumably because of the angle.
As a hunter, I'm going to ask you for an intelligence roll, please. Yulva.
Oh, I was going to say not my strong suit, but actually. Yes, that's 28 versus 80. That's a hard success.
The reason you can't pick up what Griss is pointing out is because whoever's up there, they are actively hiding from your sight. You know what that's like being a hunter. You know what it's like when someone ducks and dives and hides and blends in and camouflages, and you recognize that that's what's happening here. It's not that even though you can't see, you can sense and you know that behavior.
We need to be careful. Someone attempts to hunt us.
Scouts.
Possibly. Or a watcher.
It matters not. My axe will have them soon enough.
If they were a watcher, would they not be sounding an alarm?
Who knows who they are watching for and what? All we need to know is that they are there, and we need to be careful.
On those lovely, wise words, an arrow just splashes into the water. You hardly hear it, you hardly see it, but you lot all, should we say, battle ready? Yeah, Linus is right. You're probably just coming into range now as you begin to curve round this rock and head towards where the cove is, where you can land. Another arrow. In the water. What do you do?
Okay. Are they, from where Griss was pointing, are they anywhere that I feel that I can hit at this point? Or are we better off concentrating and just getting the boat landed and then sending our wonderful berserker up the hill to deal with them?
I'd say both. You're probably in a position where you could return fire. But it's very difficult in a moving boat up onto the top of the scree slope, so it probably would be with a penalty die.
Then I advise we get landed, get on shore, and deal with this person.
Is that the general consensus? Is it a last good push to get to the cove, the shoreline?
We can't fight them here, can we?
Then everybody give me one last strength roll. Linus, let's have that piloting roll. Let's see how quickly you can get there. And as you're doing this, as you're rowing, as you're pushing yourselves, you Burger, who's got one of the oars, is this young lad, and you know he's repeating the words of his father, and he's just kind of talking to you, trying to do the best impression of Griss, who just basically growls, row, and everybody rows. Burger's kind of going, "We are here. We are Skógrbein. This is the island. This is where the saga of Sun happened. This is where Freya planted the seeds of Yggrdasil, the world tree. We are here. This is where we will find our treasures. This is where we will invade their temples. This is where my father will make our clan great again." Oh,
Wow.
Burger.
Making the clan great again.
I
see.
Oh, and you literally see him just kind of slump into the boat a bit. He's got an arrow kind of like in his shoulder.
That was a hard success, my piloting roll, though, so we're definitely going fast.
Fantastic. We're definitely going in the right direction. Okay, so Yulva, your strength, please.
That was a fail. That was 80 versus 50.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm concentrating on keeping an eye on where I think this person is, so that when we land, we can head straight at them.
I love that you were standing somewhere, and just as an arrow flew past, you just moved. Burger. Oh! Using that chieftain's son as a shield. Very on brand.
The pup will learn to watch what he's doing whilst he is giving speeches next time. It's a valuable lesson for him.
It is. It's an on-the-job lesson. I like it. Scott, what about Orm?
I failed by one, but I think this is worth a point of luck.
Yeah. Okay. A first point of luck, everybody. Ring the bell. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. So Orm it kind of really puts his back into it. There's probably a bit of drive there, though, isn't there, Orm? There's probably a bit of, it's not just let's get there and be safe. Is it safety, or is it what's happening on the island without you?
I think it's a bit of both. I will be a much less effective instrument of the gods if I have an arrow through my head.
It's a very good point to make. Griss?
Got a success, 71 against 80.
Nice.
Yeah.
And a success in our piloting roll from Linus. So
Good success.
That's a hard success. So you guys actually, in no time at all, the whoever's up there doesn't even get another arrow to the bow, and you lot are 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
Because we rested in the previous one when we missed all the strength rolls.
That's it. That's it. You let the water do the work for you, and now you're throwing yourselves into it. That's exactly what it is. And you push yourselves, and you feel the boat slam really hard into the shore. You actually hear a bit more of a crack in the wood, and you drag that boat. It slams into the kind of the stony beach, and you all kind of feel that rock. Berger, you kind of see him just kind of picks up one of his hand axes and just kind of breaks off the arrow that's in his shoulder and just kind of gets up. What do you do? What do you all do? You've got just to give you the sense now, imagine a horseshoe for the cove. Most of the horseshoe leads up onto the island, which does go up a hill. It leads up a hill. The latter part of the horseshoe, that's where you've got a bit of a cliff face built up, which looks out to the sea and overlooks the cove. So you can imagine that whoever this individual was who firing arrows at you has got a relatively good sight of you. What do you do?
I asked, it's Barger, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Barger. I say, how old are you now, son?
I'm 17.
17?
Summers.
You beat me. I was 18 when I took my first arrow. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Ah! Okay. He's going with you, Griss.
I'm
Where you
going
going?
to charge behind up the hill with them as well, with my short spear and my shield.
I'll lay
Excellent.
down some covering fire.
Let's have that covering fire. Let's have a bit of dexterity from Griss and Linus. Okay, Yulva, how did you get on with the bow?
Ylva, basically,
Ylva, sorry.
well, I'm not sure how you say it. I'm going to let Linus correct my pronunciation here. That was a hard success. That was 20 versus 50.
Oh, okay. You're on dry land now. There's no penalty. That's it. You've looked up there. You've got a still target. I think there's some damage there.
Ooh, right. Okay. So, what damage does my bow do, please?
I think a bow is 1d6 plus your a damage bonus as well.
I'm not sure. No, I won't have a damage bonus with that. Right. So, remind me again how I roll other dice besides.
So you can go on to below your stats. There's a series of titles. There's skills, combat, backstory, spells. If you click combat.
Oh, yes.
And then you should have your
yes.
weapons already allocated, which you can roll. Now, you've already hit, so if it... Well, oh, there you go. It tells you the damage on the roll.
Ooh.
That's a hard success. We'll allow it because it's such a great roll. And that is 4 points of damage. So you hear someone going, "Oh, go! Parents think they get thrown on! Thrown on!" You don't understand what he's saying, I'm afraid.
It doesn't sound happy. That's the main thing.
Doesn't sound happy.
No.
Let's have a think. Oh, Orm. These guys are running up the side of this kind of cliffside mountain. You've got Ylva firing arrows and apparently hitting targets. What are you doing in this moment?
I'm taking a slightly more cautious way up there. I've got my staff out. I'm not charging headlong into it. I'm using cover, but still making my way up towards where the bowman is.
Nice. And could you... So obviously you've jumped out the boat, you're on the stones, you're kind of using the boats as cover, I'm guessing, to kind of get round?
Yeah, or any large rocks or trees or anything like that that I can use
kind of flat
to
against the
try
rocks.
to avoid being shot. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you said yes in a very non-committal way there, and I'm going to take that as a firm commitment. That's as you slide around the rocks, keeping as much out of sight as possible. When your right palm goes flat against the first, let's say, big rocky outcrop you come to as you move in to kind of move without being seen in this stealthy manner, I'd like you to make 2 rolls for me. Firstly, a stealth roll. Trying to stay hidden. We'll see how that goes.
Probably not well. I didn't fail by that much, but I'm not going to spend luck on it. That's 36 over 20.
Okay, the man with an arrow who is currently being proceeded upon by 3 Vikings knows where you are, but I think you could be okay. We'll see how it plays out.
I figured the others would probably make for more tempting targets anyway.
I think so too. But the second roll I'm going to need you to make as you place your hand on this rock, as you land on this island, Throderson, is a power roll.
Ooh, that is a hard success. 19 under 75.
Ooh. Well, I'm going to tell you a little something, and then we're going to go to the boys going up the mountain, and then we're going to come back to you, Orm. As you put your hand on that rock and you look up, and you look to where this person, this bowman appears to be, you actually look up, and then you can't help but your eyes drifting up. It's morning. You know that because you've sailed through the night, a day and a night and a day and a night, but now it's morning. The sun was coming up just over the mountain, but as you look up, the sun drops out of the sky and stars. Perfect. Starry night. You know these stars. You know them intimately. You know what the stars mean, who they belong to. But out of these stars, you see this white streak. And it falls, and it falls, and it gets bigger, and it falls. And you trace it. You trace this white streak, almost this line, hurtling towards the earth, as if it's fallen from Yggrdasil itself. And as it falls, we're going to jump to the boys, and we'll come back to you in a minute. Linus, Griss, and Berger. Berger's probably with Linus. Linus, you were going a bit slower, is that right?
Well, I failed my dex roll, so I think, yes, Linus has lived quite long. And the reason Linus has lived quite long is that when the Vikings charge up the hill, he takes his time and just goes a little slower. And also the boy's got an injury, so he's got to stay by him. He is the chieftain's son.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's a really good point to make. He is the chieftain's son. Griss, are you taking your time?
So the guy with the arrow, is he within sight of me now?
Yeah, actually, I think he's probably, if you were to charge, you would probably get to him. You have, in my head, I'm envisaging some kind of Alexander Skarsgård Northman, epic glistening thighs pumping up the side of this cliff. I got a bit of a man crush on him. I think he's wonderful. I think the whole family are amazing actors, actually, but, what can you say? He's pumping up the side of this cliff, really driving up there. But I think it's that thing of, it's a mentality thing rather than just fitness. So charging up to the top of that, I think within this go, so if you wanted to attack, you could get to him. And as you get up there and you feel your kind of battle mindset, you can see that he's actually, there's an arrow. You can see that he's got one hand on his thigh, and in between his fingers, you can see there's an arrow sticking out of his thigh.
Okay, so I am literally just going to sort of like run straight towards him. I've checked behind. I've just checked to see that Bugger's all okay, and he's being dealt with. And I've just gone ahead and I'm just going to swing my great axe and just get rid of the object that's in my way. That is just like a mound of flesh, really.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, I'm going to ask you for that attack roll. And as that's happening, you just hear him kind of like screaming. One hand goes up and he's just there just kind of going, Skógrbein! Skógrbein! And he's just kind of like hands up, almost terrified in this moment, seeing this human monstrosity that you are, Griss. I was about to say that you are Clym then. That would have been a bit rude, wouldn't it? That you are Griss, charging at him. So go for it. Give us the roll. Let's see what you do to this person.
All right, go. Oh, I rolled twice. Got too excited.
What was the roll? What was the first roll?
The first one was a foul.
Oh my
95.
word!
That's not a fumble, though, is it? But it's
No,
I
yeah.
failed.
Okay, right. Well, what do you? Hey, you could push the roll. I think standing at the top of a cliff and pushing a roll is always a sensible thing. And in the wise words of Mike Mason himself, always push the roll. I'm not trying to make you do anything here. Clym.
Okay. Do you know what? Okay, so I'm a bit concerned that if I push the roll, I'm going to lose my footing or something like that. But the rage is on me. I've not gone berserk, but I'm raging, you know. And
Okay.
a roll.
Go on.
So I got a success, and it's 80 over 80. So
Holy moly! One of the gods is smiling on you, apparently.
yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic. Well, hey, look, a success is a success. What was your damage?
5.
5. Okay, so this person there going, Highland Scold and Skógrbein, Highland Scold and Skógrbein. Where does your axe land? What's the swipe? What's the attack? Are you embedding it? Are you removing something?
It's coming straight down, like onto the shoulder, going, as far down as sort of like cleaving him sort of through as much as possible.
Nice. Well, with an 80 out of 80, what I'm going to say is when the axe kind of goes through, there's that familiar, wet, soft, snapping, breaking exchange of interactions as that blade drives through the kind of skeletal frame and the different organs and fleshy parts that we all have and try to look after incredibly. And as that axe goes through, it stops kind of mid-chest. Whilst the axe is in him, he looks at you, Griss, his eyes wide, and he coughs. Oh! And a whole gout of blood just flops out of his mouth. Oh! Iron Scold. Oh! Skógrbein.
I don't know what you're saying. What are you saying?
He did. But you're right. You don't know what he's saying because he isn't speaking your language. He is not speaking Old Norse. Linus, you arrive at the top. Berger, having seen this epic thing, you can see the wide-eyed glory. Berger is looking at Griss like, that was amazing, Griss. Yeah. And he kind of goes over and just like, hacks off a hand or something. And he's just like, yeah. What do you do, Linus, as you catch up with this?
I'm going to go through his pockets.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
This is the most Dungeons and Dragons thing
Oh,
I've ever done.
It's very Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
You find a map and a key to a treasure chest.
And this is a raid. We are looking for cash.
It's true. So there is a sense of dungeon crawl with a Viking raid, because obviously you're going to a location, you are exploring to take all the best goods.
I prefer Assassin's Creed Valhalla as the...
Okay. I think we'll go with that. But I can see Griss is already a fan of the murder hobos. Morning, sir. Axe, boff.
He's a berserker. Of course he's a murder hobo.
Okay.
Pretty much the job description.
What you... Linus, I don't know what you're expecting to find, but what you find is obviously there is a bow that's relatively well looked after. There's some arrows kind of tied together. They weren't in a...
Newman, there is my bow.
Sorry, my mistake. You find your new bow, Linus, and some arrows. I'm gonna say, how many arrows shall we say? Let's have a look. You find 3 arrows. Well, there's one in his leg actually, but you might want to return that to Yulva. But you find 3 arrows that are going to be useful to you. you find a small little leather pouch, and in it is a number of seeds. You find some feathers, and the feathers are all tied together, and they look like they are on an extended piece of leather thong, like a string. It's not around the person's neck, but it looks like it could be something that is worn.
This thing around his neck, can you tell me more about it?
Yeah. Well, it's not actually around his neck, but it looks like it could go around your neck. It's a leather string, a leather thong, and then it's a series of feathers that are tied together. So I would say, can you give me...
take it to Orm.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Perfect. You're very welcome on your way down to Orm to give me a natural world roll as well on your way down. Griss, so Linus, Linus, are you going to be heading down to Orm now, or is there anything else you'd like to do up here?
Yes.
Then
I'll go to... I'm not going to bother with the natural worlds I've base in it.
Okay, cool. So just before you start to head down to Orm to ask him about this little whatever it is with some feathers, whilst you're up there, this is a peak of a cliff. It's a perfect vantage point. Even just instinctually, Griss, Linus, you are going to give me a spot hidden unless you actively choose to say, I would like to go down the mountain with my eyes closed, ignoring everything, which you can do.
Might as well have, because I rolled a 91 versus 16.
Too busy rifling corpses.
Someone's got to do it, you know?
Put that on your CV.
I think... We've got our barbarian. I think I'm a rogue.
I think I'm a magic user.
There we go. There's our magic user. There we go. I'll be the bard. Griss, how did you get on?
I failed. 74 and 45. Yeah.
Okay, so I can tell you what you see then, but without much clarity or detail for either of you two, because you don't deserve it with those dice rolls. But you can see obviously out to sea. If you look east, the sea that you've come in on, the sun's coming out. You can see that it's probably actually a little bit rougher than you suspected on your way in, or at least it's turned that way. It's turned a bit of a rougher. But at this time, tide's coming in, and you can see that the cove is starting to swell as well. Your boat is pulled out enough so you don't have to worry about it. But when you look back at the island, you kind of see that it's not very big. It's almost 250 yards across kind of thing. And at one point, it's quite barren. It's quite bare. The main thing on the island is this centralized stone structure, this building. It looks like a religious building. It's got one of those weird, like kind of cross shapes at the top. But there's no other aspects of worship that you can see around. There's no groves. There's no big stones and carvings. It just doesn't look right to you guys. Yeah, I think with failed rolls, that's probably what you kind of just see with a glance. Things that kind of just are glaringly obvious. Okay, so Linus, you're on your way back down to speak to Orm. This white line, this white stick, this white spike traveling down. You almost watch it coming down, and as you do, your eyes follow to the central part of the island, and you see that this white stick hits the ground with a almost an implosion rather than explosion, and the silence washes over you. It's just there.
I'm going to assume that this is a divine vision, seeing the night sky like that and seeing this light falling. This isn't my real eyes that this. This is my inner eyes.
I think that's a fair, absolutely fair guesstimation to make. With your power roll, I mean, it was a hard success, wasn't it, your power roll? It was 19 over 75.
Oh, good. I'm glad one of us remembered.
Okay. Linus, Griss, Beleaguered, Yulva, you kind of relocate together on the shore, and just for a moment, as you gather yourselves, you see Orm's eyes almost white as he stares up. And the last thing you see, Orm, is this white spike, should we say. It almost just rattles in the ground. Just rattles. And then the vision stopped.
And seeing the others coming down towards me, I'll look around at them and say, we're in the right place. The gods have shown me where we must go next.
Good. Then let's not hang around.
I'll take a look, first of all, at Barga and say, your wound, how serious is it? Do I need to bind it before we move on? You're going to be of no use to us if you die before we get there.
I'll be fine. Griss,
Quick,
Griss.
let me just bind it quickly for you.
I've got to get the arrowhead out. Griss, watch this. And you see that he just kind of rests himself on a stone, and you kind of see that he takes a big breath, and then 3, 2, 1, he just slams his shoulder against it, pushing the arrow out the other side, trying to show off to his pal Griss. I'm gonna.
Hey, it's gonna do less damage than trying to pull it out the other way.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see how he gets on with a little constitution roll, shall we? Okay. Not great. Does he push it at this stage? Probably not. So he rolled a 57 over 50. So not great for Beleaguered. But I'm going to say he does it. It comes out the other side. Orm, you see the whole thing. Griss, you're obviously you're all welcome to see it. You all see that even he's putting a brave face on, he goes a bit white. And he's a bit white and wobbly-kneed, this 17-year-old future chieftain. Yeah.
Okay. So seeing that he's about to pass out, I'm just going to sigh fairly theatrically, step in there and take a length of cloth and start binding it up and rub some medicinal herbs into the wound.
Excellent.
And what I'm going to surreptitiously do at the same time is I've got a couple of pouches of herbs, which I use for healing. And I'm going to surreptitiously take stuff out of both of the pouches and rub them into the wound. So as well as getting the normal healing herbs, he's also getting a fairly strong dose of psychedelic salve rubbed into the wound as well.
I love this so much, Scott Dorwood. There is a reason Scott Dorwood does these games. Okay. I'm not convinced. I tell you what, I think there's going to be a sleight of hand roll, but it's not going to be for Beleaguered because he is not in the state to see that. It's actually for Yulva, Linus, and Griss, whether they see what you're doing. They might not know what the bags are. I doubt that they would. It might be something that they looked at in the future if they wanted to, but they do recognize success or fail, whatever they see. So let's have a sleight of hand, please. You've there we go. Go for it all.
Yeah, but sadly, that is a 72 over 25.
Okay. Yeah. Guys, you see. Scott, what do they see? What do they see Orm doing?
I mean, they just see. I mean, to be fair, Orm has got a load of pouches and bags tied around his person, and as well as a fairly large sack that he's been carrying over his shoulder and he's laid down on the ground now. That you can see every now and then twitches and moves. But he basically takes fingerfuls of two of the bags that he's got, or the pouches that he's got, tied to his person. And yeah, if you're paying close attention, you might see that one of them is definitely more of a paste than anything else. But yeah, that may not be unusual.
And investigators, I will allow you to completely decide the impact, whether it exists on you, the interest on that, whether it's a thing at all, whether that be now, whether it be later. Berger just carries on. Berger just, you see him just kind of, oh, thank you, Orm. Thank you.
I think Linus has seen plenty of people get injured, and plenty of times he's seen people get patched up. So he's aware that something extra got added that normally wouldn't get added, but he doesn't necessarily connect that with anything at all other than that maybe a little bit of him is like, I see the chieftain's son gets more.
Special treatment.
Yeah.
That he does.
Pepsi Max.
Ylva's just going to keep an eye on things at the moment. She doesn't really know what that means. She's not entirely used to what seers get up to, obviously, because she doesn't spend an awful lot of time in the village if she can help it. But, just watching.
Just keeping an eye. Griss, anything unusual for you?
Yeah. Has Orm ever administered the same sort of balm to myself when I've been injured in the past, when Griss has been injured?
I mean, I've certainly put balms on your wounds before. Whether or not you recognize this particular one or not, I don't know.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Store that in the back of your mind palaces. Right then, well, what do you do? Berger seems a bit of colours coming back. Seems to be doing that a lot.
Can I hand the decorative necklace to Orm and say, Seer, we've found this on the warrior. I do not know what it means, but I felt maybe you did.
Let me see. And I'll take a good look at it.
Okay.
Could I perhaps make an occult roll to work out what its significance is?
That does. I was about to say, is there a roll you'd like to make? And I think that seems like a fairly good choice. Of course, Orm, please go ahead.
Okay, that's a regular success, 38 under 70.
Okay. What you can see there is majoritively there are feathers. There are feathers that are from what you would recognize here and also from back home, local coastal wildlife birds. But it's the way it's tied, and it's not just wrapped around together, all the actual stems, should we say, with the feathers pointing out. It's the way that they're kind of looped in and around each other. And it's not necessarily a symbol. It's more about a knot and a meaning. And you can see, Orm, that this necklace, it has an element of really old Celtic protection to one that would wear it. I think it's fair to say that we'll all recognise our dear friend up on the mountaintop wasn't wearing it. Perhaps if they were, things would have been different. But you are very, you can see that it's not your religion, it's not your ways, but this is the old Celtic, one of the old Celtic knots for protection.
Yeah, take a good look at it and then just look around at the others and say, maybe he should have been wearing this. This is a protective charm. Griss, why don't you take this?
Well, thank you all. Sort of grabs hold of it, looks at it, and goes, I don't think this will be good for me. I feel wrong.
Out of all of us, you're the one who puts himself in danger the most. Out of all of us, you are the one who needs the protection the most.
Yes, I will take protection from my gods. And I hand it over to Barga. The little boy here needs the protection. Thank you all.
Mrs. nodding enthusiastically at this. He thinks that boy needs all the protection he can get.
Especially now.
I mean, you're not wrong.
We should go.
Yes.
Yes, we should.
I saw a sign. That is where we must go.
Then.
You can see the hill just at the top, just as Linus looks up. Then you can see that just the crest of the building. From up on the mountain, you can see the whole thing. From here, you can just see the crest and the cross.
Then on we go.
What the big man said.
And you go up. Is there anything specific you're doing here? Does anybody kind of go ahead? Does anybody kind of, are you planning on going up and going, hey, Askr Yelloweye, where are you? Are you sneaking up? What's the mode of operandi for you as a group, as a raiding party?
Shall we maybe send the hunter a little ahead and a little quiet, but we stay with Burger?
I am fine. I can fight.
I'll scout ahead. There has been one watcher. There may be others.
Yes. I think you scout ahead. This is a good idea. Yes.
Precis. Okay.
So, Yulva, I'm assuming this is a sneaky little...
I'm assuming so.
Right, give us a stealth roll.
Where's my stealthy stealth? There we go. Oh, this is professional pride. I have bottle luck, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to spend 3 points. I cannot, as the hunter in front of this slot, fail that roll. So yes, I will.
Say, thus far, the Curse of Skógrbein, sponsored by Roll20 Dice Rolls, has been pretty good. We've either had shockers or critical successes, or everything has been on the border where it's good set of rolls so far.
Now you know my views on this, I love the fact that computer generated dice rollers are in on the drama element of this thing.
Roll20 will tell a story. It doesn't care for what you want to tell.
So we're using those 3 points of luck for professional
pride. We are
pride.
using those 3 points of luck for professional pride.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're the first one up there, Yulva, and as you crest the top of this hill, describe how do you crest the top of this hill? You're going to come up to the entrance. You're going to see this big stone building. Before you're even going to see the entrance of it. But you've got this hill. Have you got bow ready? How, where are you going? How are you moving? Give us a bit of a...
Well, she's crawling on her belly, bow in hand, ready to go, but kind of like elbows, keeping as low as possible, keeping up downwind as possible as well, to make sure that none of her lovely Viking aroma reaches anybody, and also to see if she can pick up any aromas that are coming down to her from this building, to just try and get an eye on where the entrances are, where Askr and the others are, if there's anybody else around.
Okay. I think because of the way you've described that there, with the going in low, the approach to the senses and everything, I think I'm going to ask for a spot hidden with a bonus die, because I think not only are you using multiple senses, but you're giving yourself the time to take it all in by staying low and staying hidden.
Okay, now my spot hidden for a hunter is particularly rubbish. So let's see how this one goes. Okay, so that was the original roll is a fail. That's 63 out of 40, and I am not spending that amount of luck. So let's see how the bonus die goes. Oh dear, good. Ugh. Yeah, no, and I am not pushing at this point in the game.
What was the bonus die?
The bonus die was a 9, so that would have been a 93 versus 40. Okay. Perilously close to a fumble.
Close. Crawling on your belly over your bow and no. Okay. So without the bonus die, 63 over 40. Obviously, you still see things. It's just you just don't get to take in all the details. Maybe it's the blood pumping. Maybe it's the raiding isn't something you do all the time, and taking your hunting mindset to this raiding environment. There's a few things you've got to kind of align there and rack up. But I can tell you, as you crest the top of that hill, you see this strong stone building. These kind of big wooden doors at the front. It looks like the stone building, the front of it almost juts out, and then it goes back, and then the sides jut out a little bit, and then they go back. And as you look at it and you look around, there's nothing else around. It actually seems quite quiet. It seems quiet. And then a thought strikes you in that quietness, potentially a thought that distracts you. Didn't the other half of your raiding party come through here? And it's quiet? And with the last thing I'm going to give you, because, it was a fail, but there are some things that you can't not see. As your eyes focus, that hunter eye of yours focuses, you're still a little bit away, you look, you really, really kind of focus in, and you see that the wooden doors, one of them is askew. It doesn't seem to have closed because there's someone lying on the floor. You see the silhouette of someone, the top half, their body, lying still, half out of the door. What do you do, Yulva?
I turn round, I very quietly go back down to where my compatriots are, and I say, something is very wrong here. A corpse is blocking the door open of that building, and I cannot hear sounds of battle from our compatriots. All is quiet. Too quiet.
Too quiet. And
maybe we have a new chieftain.
Not quite. I think what we're going to do is take that line from Lynne, too quiet, because that's where we're going to end Act 1 of Branches of Bone. So join us back for Act 2, where undoubtedly Hedge will die a horrible, horrible death.
Spoilers.
Thank you for joining us for Act 1 of Branches of Bone. If you like the show and want to support the Miskatonic Playhouse, you can do this for as little as £1 on Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/Miskatonic Playhouse. And we would be incredibly thankful if you could take the time to leave a review wherever you listen to our podcast or watch our videos. You can also join us on Discord, Facebook, and other social media platforms via our website, www.miskatonicplayhouse.com, and through the links found in the show notes. Until next time, when the curtain rises again.